He's walking up now.
Well, they have a radio.
Yeah.
So they, they have their own cell phone.
I think I was talking so fast. Beat my text.
Yeah, it's funny how that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for waiting on me.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Sean Brzezinski.
Good to see you, John. Good to see you, sir.
Welcome, Marshall County.
How you doing? Good to see you. I'll just wave to y'all. How you doing? Great to see y'all. Okay, gosh, y'all are gonna be a long ways. I'm gonna still go over here. Oh, please, sit. Oh, I hope everybody's doing good. You know, we've been to further up, I guess, maybe as far up in the state as I can go, just about. We went to Homer Laughlin earlier, and Rebecca pointed out that by the end of the day, I'm going to end up in Bluefield. So I'm going to be all the way to as far as I can go and as far south as I can go. So maybe tomorrow we'll go east and west. But we got a senator here, a delegate here, and great county commissioners, and I don't know who all else, but nevertheless, today's a good day. I had the opportunity, like I said, to be with the Homer Laughlin people and working on the possibility of maybe coming up with a way to, possibly increase the number of jobs there. And surely come up with ways to ensure that the jobs that we have there, we don't lose jobs. And so, that's a great plant. My wife is crazy about the product. It's been around for, I think, 1871 or something like that. It's unbelievable. So we got some grants here, and we're able to give these grants away, and one of them's a broadband grant. And if I could just talk about them just a second, then I'll talk about kind of the state of the state. But this grant is $125,000. It's a tri-county area, including Marshall, Ohio, and Wetzel County, and it'll focus on developing broadband connectivity, which is one of the most, we all know, one of the top economic things that we need to be doing. The other one is a $955,000 wastewater, project within the city of Cameron. Now, before I give these out though, let's talk about this. Let's talk about, just a second, about the state of the being, Let's be really fair, just fair. When I walked in the doors a little over 2 years ago, things were pretty doggone tough. Now, I don't care how you cut it, but I'm a business guy, and I got enough sense to be able to read a set of books. And we didn't have anywhere to turn at all. And so we came up with this idea, this Roads to Prosperity idea. And because it was the only way that I could see that we could create an instantaneous job. You see, we had to have jobs. Because you get jobs, you get revenue. We had no revenue. We had no way. We had already drained rainy day to the point in time where our bonds were getting derated, and we were in one whale of a mess. Now, so we did the Roads to Prosperity thing. Everybody jumped in, passed unbelievably and everything else. Then all of a sudden we let those road jobs, we let all kinds of them. We got people going to work. It changed a lot of the way we think about things, the way others on the outside think. And they, all of a sudden, the bonding agencies and everybody started jumping in saying, Dave, what's West Virginia doing? Well, then all of a sudden the numbers start changing from red to pink to halfway to black. And now you've got genuine black numbers. And so in that, you've still got horrendous problem with your roads. And I fully recognize the problems that you have right here. You know, they're hellacious, you know, and so now what we have to do is pivot back into being able to put as much money into our secondary roads and get our roads fixed as we can. In the very beginning, well, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't have known that you could do this, and I don't know that we could have done this, you know, because we had those road jobs on the books, and to be able to bond the whole thing, it would have been really tough to have said, well, we're going to fix a bunch of potholes and we want to bond that for billions of dollars. So what we're doing is just this. Now we're back to how I do everything. How I do everything that I know how to do it. And that is just to go to the people on the ground and ask them what the problems are. Let them tell you what the problems are and then try to do something about it. So that's what we did. We called in all the county supervisors and everything and called them in and said, well, I want you to write down every single problem you got in the county. Bring it to us. They did. Then I want you to prioritize everything you possibly can. They did. And then we found enough money, at least in the first wave, to really be able to do something. Now, I hope you're seeing that, you know, and by the end of the summer, I promise you, you'll see it. And so I'm not going to tell you that it's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was. And I can tell you just this, and let's again be fair. You know, when you walk into office and for the administrations before you, they just let it go. They just let it go. I mean, any way you cut it, it was just let go. Well, my God, 11, you know, if you don't tend to your roads and tend to stuff, at some point in time, there's a heck of a reckoning coming. Now, that's what we did. Now, we can say what we want, but that's what we did. And maybe we let it go because we didn't have the money. You know, I keep going back to one thing that really, really does bother me, and it's this right here. Is when Manchin was in office in 2010, 11, and 12, now this is something that maybe you just wouldn't pick up on, but steam coal was trading at $150 a ton. And metallurgical coal was trading in excess of $300 a ton. And the money was coming into our state like you can't fathom. We were mining at a pace that is 150 million tons a year, and now we're mining, when I walked in the door at 72, and now you're back up to about 100. But the money that was coming was an avalanche of money. Why in the world didn't we prepare ourselves? I mean, that's all there is to it. You know, why did we just go through the motions, and at the end of the day, when I ran on one thing, tired of being 50th. You know, well, why did we have that happen? You know, it should have never happened. Now, so we're doing things. We've still got lots and lots to do. I'll be more than glad to answer your questions in just a second, but let's give these grants away, and then you got me. I'm here, and I'll answer anything that I possibly can. You know, I can't thank these guys enough for all the work they do, because it's tough. It's tough stuff, and they know it's tough. You know, We've got a special session coming up, and I want to just say one little thing about that, and that's just this. We have to acknowledge that our education system needs to be improved. There has to be real reform take place. But at the same time, we also shouldn't forget that the fact from when I came in the door, the first thing we did was we got rid of that A through F testing on our schools. Then we got rid of all this unnecessary testing to the kids. Then right behind that, we put a whole lot of control back on the local hands instead out of Charleston. Then just recently we passed, the computer technology classes in the high schools. And we kind of forget all that stuff. That's real improvements. But now, and I just, somebody asked me, one of the delegates asked me in Brooke County, I guess, Brooke County, said, well, what would you propose we do? And here's exactly what I'd propose. It's just as simple as this. I think our people need to go ahead and get their 5% pay raise. I think absolutely the paycheck protection or the savings account stuff is tough. I think that's a tough sale today. But I do think we can get some charter schools. I think we can get some pilot charter schools. I think that's a good thing. I think absolutely that we can get this state aid formula in the counties that are really, really suppressed in population and really be able to help them. I think we can get an incentive pay for our math and science teachers. I think absolutely we can get the school supplies to our teachers. And the last thing, I think we can get our nurses and counselors and psychologists in the schools. And I think we can fund every bit of that. And that is real improvement, without us just getting in a food fight, And that's, to me, that's the first part of what we need to do. Then if we need to get better, we got the training wheels on the thing, we're riding, But that's what I think we need to do. For those people out in the wilderness that say justice isn't for reform, bull snot. That's absolute garbage, What I want us to do is the very thing that I said in the beginning. I want us to commit ourselves to putting education as a centerpiece of what we got, because it will drive people to come here. So that's what I think. I'm really easy. I'm going to just tell you the truth, even if you get mad at me or whatever. Yes, ma'am.
I'll wait.
No, you ask why not?
Well, several things. I'm just curious, have you seen the information that's been put together from the forums and the surveys to come up with those conclusions that that's what the folks of West Virginia want? Because I'm kind of concerned that if we have all of that input that we went all over the state and listened to folks, and what we come up with is different than what the folks in the state have told us that they want, we may have a real fight on our hands.
Well, gosh, I wish to goodness that I could offer an easier solution. I have seen a lot of the stuff you're talking about, and I've been out in the wilderness with, I'm in a school every day, 6 days a week, 5 months out of the year. I know something about it, but I worry, that we'll, too many people want to have an opinion. I don't mean in the focus groups and all that kind of stuff and the tours and all, I'm not talking about that. I mean, too many people, whether they be our lawmakers or they be me or whatever it may be, but I think that we all have to pump the brakes and just realize that none of us are going to get us from A to Z without going through the steps and just taking our time. As we make improvement, let's make improvement and not get ourselves at loggerheads. That's just what I think. And I've just given you my ideas on what I think we can do. But let me do the grants, and then we'll answer questions, okay? If the county commissioners could come up here, let's do this. Let's do the broadband thing first.
We have representatives here from Bellamar who were very influential in radio.
Well, okay, get them on up here. That's good with me. That's great. How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. Okay, I'm gonna give you all this, okay?
All right, all
And I'm gonna kind of stand behind you. Come on to the other side.
All right. Here we go.
Sandy, y'all get up here. Come on up here, y'all. Come on.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
We got it? Okay, we're good.
Thank you, Governor.
One down.
One down.
No, y'all, you can have, take it, please take this with you, sir. I'll read this one. This is a wastewater system improvement of $955,000 to the city of Cameron. Okay, and I usually have somewhere in my notes here, y'all, you know, overall, this will improve service for approximately 400 people who use the wastewater service across the city. Lots of good stuff here, okay? We gave away $13 million of these grants. This one is right at $1 million. So that's good stuff, really good stuff. So I'm gonna read it here. It says, Community Development Block Grant. This is to certify that $955,000 has been awarded to the city of Cameron for the wastewater treatment plant and sewer separation improvements project. And then it gets real small and I can't see what I just saw. So come up here, y'all. Come on, Sarah, y'all come. Y'all come. How you doing, young lady?
I'm just fine. I'm Mayor Betty Scott.
Hey, Mayor.
This is our city attorney.
Good to see you. Good to see y'all. Good to see you, sir. I'm gonna let you hold this, okay? How about that? Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you all so much. Congratulations. That's really good. Okay, I'll go back to my stool now. And I'll open the floor to you guys if anybody that's got something. If I can't answer it, I may call on some help from the peanut gallery back here, but Rebecca. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Governor, thanks for coming here.
Oh, that's good.
I'm a citizen of Marshall County, been here all my life. I'm retired from PPG Industries,
Right.
and that's why I'm here today. Everybody else is working. And, but I'm disappointed that this isn't filled.
Yeah.
The governor of West Virginia is here, and there's a lot of people concerned about. I understand why they're probably not here. Because it's been going on for 7 years, 10 years of potholes, not potholes, sinkholes.
Yeah.
And I can see that why maybe they're not here is because we've been complaining for all this time.
Yeah.
And we're not getting any help. And I'm not talking about a slip. I call them slips, but I've been out Middle Gray Creek and they are sinkholes. And if this sinkhole was in Florida, it would have made national news.
Yeah.
And there's 7 sinkholes in 7 miles for 7 years. Imagine that. Going to work, and these people go to work every day. And I was out there, it goes out to the middle line, and they go out this way, this car's waiting. Sometimes there's red lights, so on and so forth. And that's just not cars, they're school buses.
Yeah.
School buses that are stopping and letting the kids walk maybe a mile to the school bus, Taylor's Ridge. It's all around, 700 slips, sinkholes in Marshall County, sir.
Yeah.
Imagine going to work every day, where you come out of your house, you do get down the road for a mile, and you would see a sinkhole out to the middle of the yellow lines. You would go, we gotta get that sinkhole fixed.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that for 7 years.
Mm.
And I've talked to the people out there, and they say the reason it's like that is because of the red tape and the gridlock of the EPA system that takes this. They can't get a diesel truck near the creek because maybe there might be a little bit of diesel float down
Yeah.
down the creek. So I've talked to the secretary. She did a great job. She got me to someone else, and they told me that the permit, they're waiting on the permit. It's taken 7 years, 10 years for a permit, sir. With all due respect, it just can't. And the people of West Virginia, in Ohio County, Hancock, Tyler County, Wetzel County, the 7 years, a big truck pounding these roads because the culverts are full of concrete, the ditches that travels gets the water away from the road. There's no way for the water to go, and then the water lays in the road, softens the dirt. Comes a big truck, 16-ton truck, pushes the dirt away.
Yeah.
And it's not 6 months, it's 7 years. Can you imagine 7 years? But I appreciate you coming by. And I wish you could drive out there. I know you're a busy man. I wish you could drive out. I don't know if you could get your car around it. I feel for these people, and I feel for people in all the counties I know out here on these hills. I came into the meeting we had on First Street, back in the fall, concerned about them. And I was gonna complain about the potholes in town down here on Route 2 that you're going to bypass. And I look at the pictures of going by over and over again, I'm thinking, I'm not gonna say a word about those potholes in town. People slips. Somebody has, and people have fell into them, cars and trucks have fell into them. It doesn't make national news. But you're here, and I think with your power and your influence, that you can get on the phone with somebody at EPA and say, hey, this is the governor of West Virginia, get this EPA system, get us up front, and within 6 weeks to a month, get somebody here. You know,
it seems like that's perfectly logical, doesn't it? And it seems like we ought to do it hands down. You know, all I can say to you is just this, and this sounds, you know, it doesn't even sound good to me, but think if we hadn't have passed the Roads to Prosperity thing. Just think if really and truly we had stayed on the same path that we were on, and we still had red numbers everywhere, and all that I could report and do with you is tell you we got to cut more. Where would we be? Now, I can tell you just this. 7 years is a long time. 2 years is a long time. 6 months is a long time. There's a lot of stuff that's out there that may fall under EPA's guidelines, and we really can't move the needle. You know, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, you can't seem to really move the needle. But all I do is just tell you just this. Just give me this summer. Just give me the time that I am now dialed completely into the secondary road situation. We had to pass the Roads to Prosperity thing. We had to turn the state going in the right direction. You had to do that. Or I'd have to sit here and say, well, there's nothing we can do. It's just nothing we can do. Same old thing, nothing you can do. You know. But all I'd say to you is just, I am your governor. This is my watch now. It doesn't matter that it was 7 years or 17 years or 10 years that it didn't happen. Now's the time for me to fix it. And I'm going to fix it. Some way, somehow, I'm going to fix it. You know, yes, ma'am.
Could you tell weeks ago because we had a specific issue on one of these bridges that was talked about in a slip, and 3 school buses use that road. And to give the state road credit, they did go out, the only thing they could do is cut out part of the hillside and gravel so that the school bus is
Sure.
out there. But it's also it's gonna be used this summer by oil and gas to develop a well
Right.
out in Lynn Camp. And I know that doesn't mean anything, but.
No,
they'll
it
have
means a lot, because I know what's gonna happen. It's gonna get torn all to pieces again. Yeah.
They'll have to use that again. And I know that earlier this year when we were in session, you declared Preston County a state of emergency. The last thing we want, and I know the last thing that you want, is for someone to get killed.
Oh,
But we're really, really concerned with the school buses. And I know we went to a meeting last week with the new commissioner, and you all are trying to do everything you can. But if you look at the list, and just in District 6, of the roads that Marshall County has, and we represent part of Ohio County too.
right,
But
sure.
if you look at the roads that Marshall County, the road work that's needed in Marshall County versus the rest of, it's probably as long as the rest of District 6.
Yeah,
Because we have such a large county. We have a pretty rural county.
right,
And we have a lot of oil and gas here.
yeah.
And we've never, and I'm all for that industry because they've been very, they brought a lot of jobs, they've made a lot of people millionaires, but the roads were never designed for that type of road use. And we don't know what to do, and we've got the list for summer, what's going to be done, but it's not gonna come close to what we need here. And I know you're trying to do apples to apples in all the counties to be fair, but we have a grapefruit here. I mean, it's maybe a watermelon, if you put it that way, with all the roads that are gonna be fixed. And so I just would ask for your consideration. If we declare the state of emergency, you acknowledge that, maybe there's some red tape that we could cut through that could expedite some of this. We've also sat down, the state road called a meeting 2 weeks ago with the oil and gas companies. Some of them are interested in helping us. We've never called one road bond on an oil and gas truck, or the trucks, or the damage that they do. Maybe with your help, they would come to the table and help with some of these roads, that we could fix some of these slips. And it's in their best interest too, because they're not gonna be able to get there either.
Well, let me, again, I really pride myself on this. I would challenge anybody in the state, anybody, anywhere, to tell me something that I told them that it was a lie. Something that I told them wasn't the truth. Because I'm not gonna do that. I'll make mistakes, but I'm not gonna tell you something that I know is not the truth. And all I can do is just tell you this, that it really helps me being here, because, I see that the program maybe we have in place isn't going to be adequate from what you're saying, and I see that there is a mega emergency here, and I thought I knew that, but I can see it in your faces and in the tone of your voice that it's worse than what I thought, and so, because I see all kinds of different areas of our state that are pretty bad. I mean, I see areas in Wyoming County or McDowell County and everything where there's a slip and the pavement is here, and it's just like you cut it off with a knife, and if just by chance the school bus dropped a tire in that, the whole bus is gone 40 feet straight down. I see it. I mean, I see it, and it's not just here, it's in other areas as well. Maybe not to the magnitude that it is here and everything, but all I can do is promise you this with all my soul, and that is this. I'll go back. We'll revisit Marshall again, and we'll do it tomorrow. We won't do this in 6 months. We'll do it tomorrow, and we will try with all in us to put another level of emphasis on trying to get this problem under control. I can tell you that there's not all the money in the universe, A, and the second thing is it didn't happen just overnight. It's happened over time. So don't beat on me too bad, but at the same time, I want to fix it. I really want to fix it, and I hear in your tone and I see, that it's bad. So just give me a little bit of time, not much, just a little bit. And let's pray in every way, shape, form, or fashion we don't have an accident, because that's just terrible.
One last thing, then I'll be quiet, I promise. We have tons of FEMA money and federal highway money that's been awarded to the county for these slips. And I understand that we have to expense that money first before it can come back.
Right.
And that it's a process. And to give the Department of Highways credit, I did get word yesterday that they've put out 41 new contracts to get some design work done on some of those slips. But some of that money is gonna be lost if we don't get it expensed.
Yeah, I
And that
agree.
would be a travesty. So just letting you know that that's an issue as well.
Well, let me say this, you know, the fellow that we had as the Secretary of Transportation, Tom Smith, good guy, really qualified guy, big time experience and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to beat on him in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but Tom's mentality was to design the next big giant bridge or whatever, you know. Tom, this isn't like we just stumbled on this a month ago. We have been pleading. I have, you know, because I heard your pleadings, and so we've been after this for, I don't know, 6-8 months, and we just got to the point in time where, you know, I would say God bless a milk cow. I mean, we just absolutely couldn't get across the finish line. I mean, it's like we just kept telling ourselves we couldn't do it, we couldn't do it, we couldn't do it. And before you know it, you know, your quality of life is just down, 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 down. And we're out, you know, doing some big project somewhere. Now, we don't want to slow the big projects down, don't get me wrong. We're going to continue to do the big projects, we're going to get them done. But there's ways that we can accomplish and get our ability to provide safety to our school buses and get to the convenience store and do the stuff we do in everyday life without going through what we're going through. You know, you just got to give me a summer to get it done. And I'll promise you, I'll go back and I'll put emphasis on Marshall County like you can't imagine. I'll promise you to the Lord above, I'll do it. And I don't just do that lightly. I'll do it. But I hate like crazy that, you know, I say it all the time, but, you know, any frog that's not proud of his own pond must not be much of a frog. And if we got trash on our roads and we got sinkholes like you're talking about in our roads, you know, it's just a crying shame. We did have the opportunity to fix this stuff and to underpin all this stuff years ago. We did. We just did. And for whatever reason it may be, the powers to be chose not to do it. And at some point in time, you have to pay the fiddler. And that's what happened to us. I mean, we didn't do the work we were supposed to do. And we just neglected and neglected and neglected. And now all of a sudden, my God, you're at DEFCON 15. You got everything wrong. So, look, the one thing, there's nobody on the planet that can say anything to the contrary. I'm not in this for one single thing in the world for me. And I'm in it for you and all the people in West Virginia. And I'll do everything I can, every single thing I can, to try to help, because that's the only reason I'm here, the only reason. I don't need a hot tip, I don't need the ego, I don't need the status, I don't need anything, nothing, except for you to be feeling a whole lot better than you're feeling right now. So I hear your pain and I hear your frustration, and we're going to do something about it. Now I know we're going to do that. And I hope and pray we're going to get this thing through our special sessions and all the other stuff we got to do too. Anybody got anything else? Y'all don't have any rocks or anything, do you? Listen, I watched a movie the other night. I only got a little piece of it. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. It was called drunk parents, and Alex Baldwin was in the movie, and all I saw, I mean, it just came on for 2 minutes, but he was walking up to some big van truck, and he was arguing with the guy that was a driver, and he said, "I'm gonna hit you with a rock." And he walked over and picked up his rock and hit the guy. But so I hope y'all don't have any rocks. You know.
Use them to fill the potholes.
We'll get them. We'll get them, and I'll come back. I'll come and we'll grade, okay? You know, but
Make it back at the end of the summer.
no, I'll be back before then. I'll come back in 45 days, and then I'll come in 45 days after that, and then 45 days after that, and we better be way down the trail. I better see, instead of seeing concern on your faces, I want to see happiness. I really do. Senator, yes, sir.
After you revisit, looking at Marshall County, because over the next day or two or whatever, someone from the office could maybe get a hold of me, we'd appreciate it,
Yeah.
to see what you think. One of the disappointments of the session for me, I thought we had a pretty productive session, but Randy, Sarah's a good friend of mine, the funding of that, his dream bill, and then the fact that we have these districts, these state highway districts have the ability to use some of these, they can go out and hire some private contracting to fix some stuff if needed. They already have that ability now. And we tried to mandate that if they weren't up to 70% with a bill this session. Unfortunately, I didn't make it across the finish line. I made it through the Senate. But I'm just we're in such dire straits up here right now with these roads. And I'd venture to say that we could be the worst county. Preston County got a lot of press during the session, but Marshall County is right up there in the top three. You'll see some of this truck traffic on Thursday, especially if you take Route 18 from Marquest to Pine Grove.
Right.
You'll see it. There's a 5-mile stretch there. It's already been addressed. I know that one's already been addressed with three gas companies kicking in. But I just think that we got to such a state of disrepair and such an emergent situation that it almost warrants to get back where we need to be, to bring in some help and to at least look at bringing in some private enterprise to help get to where we need to be so we can then hopefully maintain moving forward. I also agree that I appreciate you taking this head on. I also agree that this problem started decades ago, and you're bearing a lot of the brunt of it. And I appreciate you taking it head on, especially the pivot to the secondary roads was a big deal. And I just hope we follow through with that. I don't think the list is adequate for Marshall County. At the end of summer, I think we're going to be better. I don't think we'll be good enough. That's how bad it's gotten here. From a lot of this traffic, the traffic up here, I don't believe that many in Charleston realize what the economic activity and the truck traffic that's going on up here. We talk about it, but it's hard to imagine the amount of trucks and the daily activity unless you actually live up here and see it. So I appreciate it. I'd love to see what you all think. You can look at it again.
I'll have them report absolutely to you, and I'll report to you before 2 days. And the other thing that I'd say is this and this is a toughie, because you said it perfectly when you said we're really appreciative of all the jobs, and we're really appreciative of all the revenue and everything that comes from the gas companies and all that. But the trucks are tearing our roads all to pieces and everything else. And how are you going to do that? And you got a real balancing act there that's really difficult. And wait just a second, sir. And the other thing is you got to realize that whether it's our senator, our House, or it's the governor, none of us are king. You just can't just do it. We're not kings, and so we're queens, and so with all that being said, we've got to agree, and there was the very first thing that I did, the very first thing on one of the things in my first day of the state said we need to tier severance taxes. When the severance taxes go up, and the companies, whether it be gas or coal, are really doing really great, maybe they can pay a little more. And when the price of coal and everything is down, maybe we ought to give them a break and everything. Well, you know, we should have pulled that off. We really should have. You know, well, we didn't. You know, but the net of the whole thing is just this: is we've all got to agree, and this situation warrants. I mean, because you're exactly right too. The senator said that there's lots of times in Charleston that they don't understand the magnitude of the truck traffic. For God's sakes, the people in Charleston in a lot of ways don't even know you exist. They don't even know you exist, you know, but because they're never out in the boondocks, you know. Well, I'm in the boondocks somewhere every day because I just drive, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, maybe we could revisit, maybe we can figure a way, because these companies are good companies. For crying out loud, what they're doing and you know, for the betterment of us is great. And they need a lot of kudos for that. But at the same time too, being a good steward and being a company that has responsibilities, they've got to know that they can't expect you to put your children at risk and all the different things that are happening because the roads are torn all to pieces, because they're going to continue to be torn up. You can't have enough rock or asphalt to keep them together. You know, if you have that magnitude of traffic on them, because that truck is well probably in excess of 40 tons trucking the load. You know, you're allowed 80,000 tons on the highway. You're allowed 122,000 tons if you've got a coal truck. That's 60 tons. Well, for crying out loud, our roads just can't handle that. They just can't handle it. I know a whole lot about construction and stuff like that. You know, my dad would say there's 3 ways to build a road. That's drainage, drainage, drainage. That's all there is to it. 3 ways to always build a road. Drainage, drainage, drainage. You know, when the culvert pipes are filled up, you know, and the ditches are full, the road is going to just disintegrate. That's all there is to it. So, it's a big problem. But yes, sir.
Have you given any thought to maybe adding roads to the special session call, rather than just try to fix some of what got vetoed?
To be perfectly honest, that has not come up and everything. But it's not like I would be opposed to that. But here's the 2 lines of thinking. You know, is, well, I'm not even going to go into all that. You know, that gets too complicated. But like I said, give me 45 days. Let me come back in 45 days. And I'll promise you this today, before the sun goes down today, you know, I will put a refocused emphasis on Marshall County. Yes, ma'am.
I'll save you harassment and fear of rock throwing if you put Wetzel County on your list after Marshall.
Well, you know, look, you guys are right in the heart of the gas. I mean, it's easy. It's easy to figure out why. You know, I mean, it's easy to figure out why. You know, and it's the trucks. You know, it's neglect compounded with the trucks. You know, I mean, think about this. I was in McDowell County, you know, giving away grants at Welch, and I pulled in to. There's a prison in McDowell County. It was built there, and actually my company did all the mining work, moved all the dirt and everything, leveled it all out where they built the prison. I hadn't been there in 20 years. There's a section of the Coalfield Expressway, okay, that was built like 3 miles 20 years ago. 20 years ago it was put on grade. It doesn't connect on that end, it doesn't connect on this end, and it just sits out there. 20 years ago. And it was final graded, and now it's grown up in grouse habitat. Seriously, it's just grown up in bushes and everything. Well, I'll promise you, I'll bet you anything you want to bet. You could go out there and drive on it, it'd be smooth as it could be. You know why? Because there's nobody uses it. You know, crying out loud. You got gas, and trucks. You're going to have holes. That's all there is to it. So we got to put an extra emphasis here. That's all there is to it. We want to celebrate the gas, celebrate the companies. We got to pay more. Just that simple. Yes, sir.
Do you get any help and relief from people that pay into, from the gas and oil, pay into a fund? And what I hear is they just do, if they fix this road, they'll fix it, but they'll go around the sinkhole and they put the gravel down, that's it.
Well, I don't.
The sinkhole is a much bigger problem. I don't think it's the coal or the gas and oil.
In
I don't think they help.
well, in all due respect to you, sir, there's going to be 1,000 rumors and variations as to what they'll do, what they won't do, and all this kind of stuff. We just need to get in it. That's all there is to it.
Can you get help? Now, in other words, if there's a hurricane, and we all see it on TV, telephone poles are down in the thousands.
Right.
Back on.
Right.
And trucks come in from other states.
Yeah.
We got sinkholes and hundreds and thousands, and we need help. And it may have to come like putting up telephone poles, bringing in other people. Get it. But then that's the money.
Yeah. Well,
If you don't have the help. Create the trouble.
like I said, it's really good I'm here. Not from the standpoint that it's good for me to be here to toot my horn. It's good for me to be here, for me. Yes, sir.
I don't think Marshall County can take too many more 45-day visits because our roads are bad till somebody takes a stand and said, local use only, and that's what's gonna have to take. The sheriff could go out Roberts Ridge or 4th Street, which you should go that way just to look at the roads.
Right.
To where the sheriff said it's shut down except for local traffic only.
That's it.
Then you'll see how these roads get fixed. Tax money with these pipeliners can't get there, then you'll see some money rolling around to get them fixed. And that's the only way you're gonna get them fixed. And if the county and the sheriff can do that,
Yeah.
and if he doesn't, the people should start doing it.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna have a ball fire in your hands.
I think that's,
Something needs to be done before we get somebody hurt bad.
yeah, I think that's very,
There's
I
no
think that's
pipeline
very
out
interesting.
Glendale Creek. I live out Glendale Creek, but the roads are getting bad just from lack of maintenance,
yeah,
Not cleaning the ditches, not cleaning the,
yeah. Well, understand now, I didn't mean me coming back in 45 days meant that nothing was gonna be done for 45 days. Because me coming back, I mean, for crying out loud, that ain't, I mean, really and truly, that probably ain't gonna get a whole lot done other than my knowledge. But I told you, I also said before sundown tonight, we would be on this. And I'll be on it. Listen, I just said a minute ago, I pride myself in the truth. I challenge anybody to find something where I'm not telling you the truth. Just give me the opportunity. You'll see. You'll see. You have a very interesting idea, though, local use only, because in all honesty, we all know what's tearing the roads all to pieces, and we need participation.
when you get tractor and trailers on Roberts Ridge that can't make it around the turn, and you've got a quarter mile up the ridge blocked off that have to go the other direction because they can't get around the turn. It's carrying a little bit too far.
And there's big signs.
Yes.
That tell the trucks not to go up there. And it happens at least once a week.
Yes.
At least.
10 years ago, I seen it coming, and I moved off of Roberts Ridge.
Yeah.
Well, I blame it on the state. Too many people down there don't know what's going on, exactly where it's lays.
Well, I think that's probably the understatement of all time in my book, because there's,
I mean, years ago, we bought salt and we saved $1 a ton in the state of West Virginia. But the only thing it was, we saved $1 a ton, but all the salt was delivered in Buchanan. So all these other districts had to go get their own salt. Now, did we save money? No. That guy wasn't fired. He was promoted. And that happened about 10 years ago.
well,
We need to shake the tree.
Too many people in this state have been promoted by being buddies. You know, too many people are just, it's been a political racket for a long time. People are just promoted by who they know and favors and how many votes they can get and everything else under the sun. Just, and at the end of the day, I mean, you know, and I can't do any more than just tell you what I think. At the end of the day, the people a lot of times suffer, and it's not any good. It's just no good. Yes, sir.
Well, I think a lot of big perception here is that, you know, what you're saying is great. You know, you're coming, you're going to work on solving the problem, but I think the perception here is you don't adequately understand the problem and able to fix it. And that's what Delegate Canestraro has invited you out to see some of these issues firsthand. And I don't think anybody has that confidence that the people down in Charleston, being you or anybody else down there, adequately understands the magnitude of what's going on here. So how can you solve the problem without actually understanding the problem?
Listen, I'll be more than glad to go anytime, okay?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Delegate, when you sent the letter, the governor probably never even saw the letter. You sent it on a Thursday for the Monday invitation. So I'm sorry to interrupt, Governor, but he never did. He did not. The letter, the letter ran through our intergovernmental affairs.
Well, he's received it now, and I'm not saying he should
Right,
drop
but I'm
everything
saying
and
for
come
that
see it, but he's been
particular
invited, and you know, it's about understanding the problem. I think that's the perception. I mean, I lived in Wheeling. I used to travel down the mountains. My office is here. I've done that for 5 years. I didn't understand the problem. When I moved up to the Ridge, have to go on these roads that everyone's talking about, I understand the problem because I deal with it every day. And I think that's the perception of a lot of people that I deal with in my office, at least.
Well, understand this. You got, this is the part that you probably don't know about me. I'm really hands-on deal, okay? I don't hang out at the Greenbrier and go 14 vacations a week and everything. If I could show you my vehicle right now, my vehicle today just got the windshield replaced in it because it had a big crack down the middle of my windshield. My vehicle today has got 120-some thousand miles on it. I drive every mile myself. I don't ride with a trooper, I drive. All those miles have been West Virginia miles. So I'm across every road known to man all the time. And I see, now I haven't been on Roberts Ridge or whatever, but I see, my God, living guys, I mean, I'm all over this state all the time. And I've seen an awful lot of stuff. I am not in some ivory tower. I just don't do that. You know, I'm not a person that's, you know, having a party every other night. I'm not in a parade. I am driving. And so maybe I haven't seen what you're talking about, but I've seen a lot of bad stuff.
Well, I mean, I think that's what everyone's trying to tell you right here, is that Marshall County is a lot worse than anywhere else in the state. I mean, I can't speak for, I haven't visited every county in the state, but I think that's what Delegate Zukov is trying to impress upon you, is that the magnitude of the issues up here are far and above anywhere else that what we're dealing with the state. I mean, the truck traffic in and of itself, like you said before, I mean, we're going to fix the roads now. That truck traffic's only going to be getting worse. The rig count is the highest it's been in the state in these areas. The trucks are going to get more and more. So we fix now, what's going to happen in the future? That's the perception. That's the perception.
Well, I don't know how to correct the perception. You know, I'll go look for myself, but at the same time, and you know, here's an area that really gets difficult, and that is, you're right, the trucks are going to continue to run, and there's going to be an awful lot of trucks continue to run unless you put local traffic only out there. And as more and more trucks run, I said this a few minutes ago, I don't know if there's enough rock or asphalt to keep it going unless we put a lot of resources to it. There's no other way. And the only way we put a lot of resources to it, in all honesty, is have the companies participate to some degree. But I can tell you this, that not that it is of this magnitude countywide, but there are many places in many counties that are really bad, really bad. Just as bad as the worst here, you know, believe me. That just may not be to the magnitude of countywide as bad as it is here. Give me just a few days. That's all I'm asking. Give me a few days, and let's see what we do.
Governor, I'm gonna step out to go to work. I wanna thank you for coming, and although we got through the roads and talked all about the roads, and rightfully so, this is a really, really good problem here. I just wanna thank you for the grants. Those 2 grants are a big deal that you talked about today, you know, for Cameron and the other for Wetzel, Ohio, and Marshall County. It's gonna make a big difference. So thanks for that, and I just wanna make sure we didn't lose sight of those grants.
Well, I got it, and I've heard you, and I'm really glad I came. I really am. And all I'd ask you to do, just give me a little bit of time, not very long. If you've waited 7 years, just give me 70 hours or 7 hours, and see what happens. And see if I don't really realize the magnitude of what you got. And if I don't, I'll be out there anywhere and everywhere finding out myself, because we gotta get it straightened up. It's a, you know, and I don't know how in the world we got, you know, tractor trailer can't get up the hill, can't get around the curve or whatever like that and everything. I don't know why in the world we just continue to try to, you know, pound around pegging a square hole, because at the end of the day, and I don't say this unappreciatively, the companies, the gas benefits, and everything that has happened is great, and we are very, very appreciative of it. But at some point in time, if we don't watch out, here's exactly what's going to happen. And that is, if we don't watch out, we're going to end up maybe with a whole lot of problems and left kind of holding the bag. And then everybody's gone. And here we are. And that's terrible. We're working on a petrochemical thing, and we've been working on it, but really and truly, probably 10 days ago, the secretary, the assistant deputy secretary of the Department of Energy was in my office at the mansion. We were there. We met a good put. There's an executive order that's just come out, and there's all kinds. We are so close to being able to do something that's going to bring an incredible amount of jobs to West Virginia. Incredible petrochemical manufacturing jobs that are real jobs, and we're so close to getting it done. We're not there yet, but we're close. And I really believe with my friendship with the president and everything, we got a real shot of landing and getting across the finish line there. But that doesn't help your situation here today. And I got to do something about it. I will. I'll come back. I'll tell you what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. I'll meet you right back here in 30 days. Right here. Okay? I'll give you the opportunity to pick up the rocks outside and bring them with you when you come in here. And if I don't have something really going, I'll say, have at it. Fair enough?
Fair enough. No.
Okay. All right, 30 days. I'll be here. Don't y'all get disappointed.